Hi everyone, I'm Smileypeacefun, and today I will show you how to make this island cake with an amazing surprise inside. So first, here's everything you will need. For the chocolate dough you will need, in one bowl, 150 grams of flour, 2 tablespoons of baking powder, 25 grams of cocoa powder, and 175 grams of sugar. In the other bowl, 175 grams of butter, which is at room temperature, plus a little bit of butter for greasing the baking pan, 3 eggs, and optional some black food coloring to give the whole thing a better color contrast later on. For the white chocolate dough you will need, in one bowl, 170 grams of sugar, 2 packages of vanilla sugar, 350 grams of flour, and 1.5 packages of baking powder. In another bowl, 4 eggs, 1 little bottle of vanilla extract, and 2 deciliters of milk. And in the third bowl, 100 grams of white chocolate and 230 grams of butter, plus some blue food coloring. We will work with simple syrup. For this you will need a pan, something to stir, 2 deciliters of water, the same amount of sugar, and a container. For the buttercream you will need a bowl, powdered sugar, butter, milk, and something to smooth out the buttercream. For the decoration you will need some baking paper, a rolling pin, some toothpicks, a knife, some fondant in yellow and green, and one of these round chocolate bars. And here are some baking items you will need in general: a serving plate, cutting boards, bowls, a bigger knife, a spatula, a rectangular baking pan like this, an underwater themed cookie cutter, and last but not least a mixer. You can also use a hand mixer. So now let's get started. First, we're going to make the chocolate dough. So for that, simply mix both bowls with the chocolate dough ingredients together. Optional, you can add in some black food coloring to give the whole thing a better color contrast. Grease your baking pan. Additional, I used some baking paper so I can remove the cake easier later on. Bake the whole thing at 180 degrees Celsius for between 45 and 50 minutes. When the chocolate cake had plenty of time to cool after baking, take it out of the form and cut the cake into pieces with the same width as your cookie cutter. Then take your underwater themed cookie cutter and use it on every cake piece you've cut. Keep the scraps because we can use them later on. Now make your white chocolate dough. Add your first 2 bowls of ingredients into the mixer. Put your third bowl with the white chocolate and the butter into the microwave really shortly until everything is melted. Add this in as well and mix it together. Separate this dough into 3 parts. Use your blue food coloring and put different amounts of it into the different bowls to create different shades of blue to represent the beautiful ocean. So grease again your baking pan and put the first blue colored part in it. Now place in your cut out chocolate cake pieces, all in one row and all being placed in the same direction. After that we're going to create some simple syrup. Just mix together your sugar and the water in a pan over some heat until it's all well combined. Then pour some of the simple syrup over the chocolate cake part. Why we should do this, you may ask? Well, we're going to bake the chocolate cake again later on. And while baking for the second time, we don't want the chocolate cake to get dry. So the simple syrup will keep the moisture of the chocolate pieces. So cover up the chocolate pieces with the 2 other shades of blue dough and bake the whole thing at 160 degrees Celsius for about 1 hour and 20 minutes. Just check the oven a few times to see if it needs a little bit more or less time to bake. After that's done, take your chocolate cake scraps and crumble them. Add in some powdered sugar and butter. Mix it together to create an island you can add on your cake, so we don't waste any cake. Roll out the yellow fondant to cover the island and trim around it with a little knife. Mixing together some powdered sugar, some butter, and a little bit of milk will give you a nice stiff buttercream. Use some blue colored buttercream to glue your cake onto the serving plate. Then use the rest of it to cover your cake and smooth out the edges. Some baking paper on the serving plate will protect the plate from getting dirty. After that, roll out some green fondant and cut out some palm tree leaves. Put them all on a toothpick and stick the whole thing on one of these chocolate bars to create a cool looking palm tree which you can place on your island cake. And yeah, that's it! How to create an island cake with an amazing ocean surprise on the inside. I hope you liked this video. See you hopefully next time. I'm Smileypeacefun. Bye!